Taiwan's allies and partners discuss regional security and democratic partnerships at the Academia Forum in Taipei. Reservists step up with live fire drills ahead of Taiwan's largest military exercise. Japan calls China its greatest strategic challenge ever in a white paper. Plus, are probiotics the key to coral restoration? A warm welcome to TaiwanPlus News. I'm Leslie Liao. The 10th annual Academia Forum is happening in Taipei with major speakers including President Ching-te and U.S. Representative McCaul. Our reporter Tiffany Wong was there and brings us more.
The international community needs to stand together against China's transnational repression. That's the message President Ching-te is conveying to foreign officials and security experts at the 10th annual Academia Forum in Taipei. One major topic was how democracies can stand together after China enacted a new ethnic unity law where Beijing claims the right to act against people and organizations outside China's borders.
Against the threats from China's ethnic unity law, Taiwan's position is clear. We will not accept united front infiltration or red terror. We will not stand by while China tries to extend its reach into Taiwan or any other free nation or region.
The forum, hosted by Taiwan's Foreign Ministry and the Taiwan Institute for Economic Research, brought together political figures and experts from around the world to discuss regional security, democratic partnerships, and instability driven by China. Speakers included representatives from the Inter-Parliamentary Alliance on China, including Japan's former defense minister, who shared a statement in support of Taiwan's efforts to counter Beijing's growing transnational repression, and the Prime Minister of Taiwan's only African ally, Eswatini, which has recently reported facing pressure to switch recognition to China. Russell Delamini praised Taiwan's enduring partnership and contributions to the world.
The enduring friendship between the Kingdom of Eswatini and the Republic of China and Taiwan stands as a living testimony to what nations can accomplish when relationships are founded upon trust, mutual respect, and a shared commitment to human progress. For this reason, Eswatini will continue to stand firmly and consistently for Taiwan's meaningful inclusion in global governance.
Pro-Taiwan U.S. Congressman Michael McCaul, who formerly led the House Foreign Affairs Committee, also spoke at the forum.
As the CCP escalates its military activities around Taiwan and increases their belligerence in the South China Sea, particularly against our allies in the Philippines, it is critical that we respond with unity in the Indo-Pacific region. The CCP's actions are not isolated incidents. They are part of a broader, deliberate strategy to assert dominance in the region, challenging international norms and threatening the sovereignty of neighboring countries.
As the Academia Forum enters its 10th year, the discussions here will shape how Taiwan's partners respond to shifting security challenges in the Indo-Pacific and center Taiwan as a key player in maintaining peace in the region. Chris Ma and Tiffany Wong in Taipei for TaiwanPlus.
Taiwan's government says it will work with schools to warn about the risks of traveling to China on exchanges. The Mainland Affairs Council says it will improve oversight of trips and teach students to be aware of United Front activities or pro-unification propaganda. An official report last week said China is increasingly targeting younger students for exchange programs and that more and more students and teachers are taking part. But it said schools were often not reporting trips as they are required to do. Taiwan's largest annual military drills, the Han Kuang exercises, are set to start Wednesday. Some units have already held smaller scale drills in preparation. Our reporter Larry Luciano was on the scene.
We're on Taiwan's northwest coast, where the Army is holding a live fire drill on the beach. It's a preview of what we'll see in this year's main Han Kuang exercises. Reservists fired assault rifles, machine guns, and pistols over the water, hitting targets 75 meters away. Exercises like this let them refamiliarize themselves with their weapons and get to know the terrain they one day may have to fight on. One commander put it simply, it increases their combat effectiveness. And observers agree.
This is happening before the main event because it's a kind of like validation, right? So it enables these different reservists to be able to familiarize themselves once again with what it means to be a soldier for basic soldiering sort of skills. And since Han Kuang is not scripted, it could evolve in any sort of which way. What if these troops need to be able to defend this particular beach or another similar beach somewhere around northern Taiwan that's much more sensitive given its proximity to Taipei?
This live fire drill comes just ahead of the Han Kuang 2026 exercise. That sets a run nationwide for 10 days starting Wednesday and involve every aspect of the military. There will also be annual air raid drills held across much of Taiwan, which will see civilians shelter in place as well as simulated network outages. This is all to prepare for a potential invasion by China. That threat is ever present. Even as these shooting drills were held, the Defense Ministry announced that it tracked 17 Chinese military aircraft conducting joint patrols with warships near Taiwan. This year's Han Kuang exercises are set to introduce some new changes, such as US-style training methods, more mobilized reservists, and new weapons such as recently arrived Abrams tanks. All of these will play an important role in increasing Taiwan's defense capabilities. Ethan Chen and Larry Siano in New Taipei City for TaiwanPlus.
In a new defense white paper, Japan describes China as its greatest strategic challenge ever. The white paper says China and Russia have deepened military cooperation. Through joint bomber patrols, naval operations, and exercises, the two pose a threat to Japan's security. The report also highlights Taiwan, saying China has repeatedly conducted drills around the country in recent years. It says Beijing is turning these activities into a new normal as it improves its combat capabilities. For more on the Japan Defense White Paper, Reese Ayers spoke to Wang Hongren, Executive Director of the Institute for National Policy Research.
What are the key takeaways from Japan's 2026 Defense White Paper, and how does it signal a shift in Tokyo's strategic posture?
This 2026 Defense White Paper actually tried to show the international society that Japan is moving beyond simply strengthening its self-defense forces toward becoming a much more proactive security role in the Indo-Pacific regions. I think the White Paper tried to demonstrate that China is now clearly already identified as Japan's most significant long-term strategic challenges in the regime. And the second point you can read from the White Paper that Japan is accelerating its transition toward more modern technological driven warfare. So right now, Japan is strengthening its long-range strike capabilities, intelligence sharing, missile defense. Finally, I think the White Paper tried to reframe defense as a part of national resilience and economic security.
How is Japan planning to deepen security cooperation with key regional partners like the US, the Philippines, and Australia moving forward?
I think the whole idea is to try to build up a so-called multi-layered network of allies in the region. So, of course, for the United States, Japan is trying to integrate alliance command structures and have more intelligence sharing and joint operation planning with the United States. But with Australia, I think right now the cooperation is moving beyond political coordinations toward more operational integrations-oriented framework. So this will include more joint exercise. For example, Japan also has this reciprocal access agreement with the Philippines. And they also have this acquisition and cross-service agreement between the two countries.
And so what specific measures is Japan taking to bolster deterrence against China in the Taiwan Strait?
Japan still remains very careful not to frame its policy as directly defending Taiwan. Japan tries to focus more on strengthening deterrence by making any potential use of force significantly more costly and difficult. Japan is strengthening the defense of its southwestern island chains, including the Ryukyu Island, which is very close to Taiwan. So I think that's quite important, even if not clearly to say that it will defend for Taiwan Strait or for Taiwan, but it's already built up those preparedness for the future Taiwan contingencies.
That was Wang Hongren from the Institute for National Policy Research. Japanese Prime Minister Takaichi Sanae has toured earthquake-hit areas in Kumamoto Prefecture. She's promised help is on the way for survivors, many of whom have been enduring intense heat without water or power.
Although electricity has now been restored, we will continue to work swiftly and thoroughly to restore services, including the equipment repairs in individual households. Regarding the water supply, we are ensuring a continuous supply to evacuation centers, welfare, and medical facilities, and we plan to provide an estimate on restoration of supply by the end of this week.
Takaichi says the cabinet will move to approve around $120 million to aid in recovery. At least 38 people died as a result of last week's 7.1 magnitude earthquake. Around 8,000 people are still in evacuation shelters, with others staying in cars or in donated hotel rooms. Takaichi's inspection included a helicopter view of the destruction and a visit to a shelter. Following the Prime Minister's tour, Taiwanese chipmaker TSMC said its local fab is fully back online, ending worries about disruptions to production. Taiwan has proposed stricter monitoring requirements for 3 prescription drugs, including 2 emergency contraceptive pills. The proposal has sparked debate among medical professionals, women's rights groups, and the public. Ting-te has the story.
Back in June, Taiwan's Food and Drug Administration proposed adding 3 drugs to the country's pharmaceutical tracking system: 1 abortion medication and 2 emergency contraceptive pills. The announcement also drew attention to a little-known fact. Emergency contraceptives have always required a prescription in Taiwan.
那主要的原因是因为近期有一些网络非法贩售的一些情势发生，因为追踪追溯主要是要求的对象是药商，药商他必须要把他的药品提供给哪些医疗院所啊，哪些社区药局提供，把他的流向到我们的平台去登录，所以我们管理的对象是药商，并没有管理到药局或者是民众个人，所以这一点是要特别说明的。
The FDA says the proposal is about strengthening oversight, not restricting access. But for many pharmacists, it has reignited a much broader debate over emergency contraceptives.
其实这次呢列出的3款药里面，我们可能要把它个别说一下哦。那第一个呢 ，misoprostol 的话 ，Cytotec， 好，商品名称叫 Cytotec， 它本身确实是在医生用专业判断上，它是用在引产、流产这方面的药物。那但是呢，后2个药物哈 ，levonorgestrel 或者是 ulipristal acetate 这2颗药物 LNG 跟 UPA 本身是属于紧急事后避孕药，所以我们应该把这3个药物拆成2类来看。
Some pharmacists say LNG and UPA shouldn't require a prescription. They note that the World Health Organization considers LNG a safe emergency contraceptive, one that's available over the counter in more than 90 countries.
尤其它的使用上来说，又会跟民众取得的时间有极度高度的相关。这颗药呢，在做紧急事后避孕药的时候，如果在12个小时内吃的话，它的效果可以高达95%。那12到48个小时吃的时候，它的效果就会下降10%左右。那超过48小时，效果又会变得更差。所以其实这颗药的药效极度跟时间在赛跑。
That concern is shared by women's rights groups, who argue that timely access is critical because emergency contraception becomes less effective the longer it's delayed.
那法规上面确实是，因为我们的事后避孕药都是处方用药啦，所以我们也不能够说政府它是现在改了新的办法，因为它就比较像是在落实管理。可是过去多数的女性其实在药局都可以直接购买LNG 相关成分的药物，那忽然不能购买，其实女性她会有一个很实质的感受，就是我忽然没有管道可以去买到这些药物，或者是我可以买到药物的管道变少了哈。那对于某些偏乡地区的女性来讲，她就医又不是这么方便，那 会不会影响到他实质的那个就是健康权益？这是我们蛮关切的地方。
The debate quickly spread beyond medical professionals. A public petition calling for emergency contraceptive pills to be reclassified as pharmacist-supervised drugs reached the required number of signatures in just 4 days. But the idea isn't new. An FDA advisory committee endorsed the same idea back in 2016, though it was never implemented.
就是针对这两种，那我们还是不太赞成改类。其实这两种药物对身体来讲可能造成恶心、呕吐啦、腹痛啦、出血啦，或者月经会变成絮乱不正常，或者你一直这样子就一直重复使用这种药物的话，对它未来的怀孕还是有影响的。
But there appears to be general support for easing restrictions on morning after pills.
觉得如果一定要有医生开处方签的话，可能会有一些就是不是自愿的这些行为会变得是他们很难保护自己。
如果已经有就是它已经有时效性了，然后你还不给它快速的取得的话，那我不知道这件事情有什么作用。
The FDA says it's reviewing the petition and looking at possible support measures before deciding on any changes. For now, emergency contraceptive pills remain prescription only in Taiwan. But the debate over whether they should stay that way is far from over. Patrick Chen, Hank Xu, Klein Wang, and Ting-te for TaiwanPlus.
A group of local scientists has discovered that giving probiotics to corals can slow down coral bleaching. Irene Lin takes a look.
Under Taiwan's southern sea, vibrant coral reefs stretch across the ocean floor. But with global warming causing water temperatures to rise, coral bleaching has become a crisis that many marine biologists are working hard to solve. And now, one team from Taiwan's top research institute has found a unique treatment, probiotics.
添加进去呢，在珊瑚里面就会让它这个珊瑚的对这个环境的压力可以做比较有效的适应。如果提升了高温的话，它也比较不容易白化。
The team added various types of probiotics to coral cell samples and found some that not only improve the coral's health but also build up their defenses for hotter habitats. Although this technique is still in early trials, the team says it could be a big leap forward for coral reef restoration. Taiwan's Ocean Conservation Administration has been growing coral for years and says it will continue to monitor areas of bleaching.
各学术单位然后政府机关合作然后我们有一些在地守护的团体我们他如果进到海里，有时候如果看到珊瑚白化的部分，就跟我们讲，让我们来做一个更精确的白化的预警跟调查。
Marine biologists say coral reefs are crucial habitats for thousands of species, bringing together plenty of fishery resources and minerals. While parts of society try to combat global warming on land, these scientists are working to help marine ecosystems weather the changing environment. Fu Huahong and Irene Lin for TaiwanPlus.
Coming up after the break, a reservoir in South Korea runs dry as the country grapples with record-breaking heat.
For more stories from Taiwan and Manila, visit the TaiwanPlus website or follow us on our social media.
Is there a place you've been searching for?
We bring you stories not just to Taiwan,
Exploring the issues that matter to you. This is a journey that will move you. Our stories are all connected. TaiwanPlus.
For more stories from Taiwan and around the world, download the TaiwanPlus app and follow us on social media.
Welcome back. You're watching Taiwan Plus News. The Taiwan Stock Exchange has announced that it is loosening some of its regulations in response to recent market volatility.
在有价证券呢涨跌有异常波动的时候呢，可以适度去提醒投资人呢， 注意交易的风险，所以我们并没有去估计呢对量能的一个影响。我想量能还是要回归到基本面，以及综合呢各种呢国际上呢政经变化的一个情况。
The changes come in response to criticism from lawmakers that the current system acts as a so-called liquidity killer. New rules include shorter restriction periods and faster match intervals, which analysts believe will reduce impacts on restricted stocks and improve market liquidity. The stock exchange will also loosen standards to reduce interference in high-priced stock trading. The new system will be implemented from August 10th. Tourists in Taiwan spent a record $11 billion in 2025, up 10% from the previous year. A survey by Taiwan's tourism administration showed growing numbers of visitors opting for outdoor and cultural activities over shopping, diversifying the country's tourism revenue. Travelers also planned their trips further in advance and spent more per day on average. While Japan remained the largest source of its tourists, American visitors spent the most at nearly $250 per day. South Korea is experiencing record-breaking heat. At least 16 people have died because of the high temperatures, prompting the president to urge authorities to step up support for those affected. And some Koreans think intense heat like this could be the way of the future. John Van Trieste has more.
The signs warn deep water, no swimming. But here at the Baegan Reservoir in South Korea, there's almost no water left to speak of. Over an extremely hot summer, this reservoir has turned into a field of cracked, parched dirt. Depth markers stick out from the baked earth with nothing left to measure. And from above, the sun brings another day of unbearable heat. South Korea broke 3 heat records in the course of 3 days, from Friday to Sunday, each hotter than the last. Peak temperatures nearing 43 degrees sent around 300 people to the hospital. By Monday, officials issued the country's first ever severe heat wave warning for the capital, Seoul. In the city of Miryang, about 50 kilometers from Busan, longtime residents say this summer's heat is unusual.
I am 61 years old, and this is the hottest I have experienced in 50 years.
Younger residents, too, say this heat has gotten to be too much.
Judging by the exact temperature figures, I can see that global warming is getting worse. I can't imagine living without air conditioning anymore.
South Korea joins places from neighboring Japan all the way over to wildfire-hit Europe, struggling with new extremes of heat. And here, as elsewhere, there's a growing sense of a new, dangerous normal. Andy Xue and John Van Trieste for TaiwanPlus.
Okinawa's colorful coral reefs are under threat from climate change. Scientists are racing to find ways to keep them cool before they face more mass bleaching. Reporter Ai Chi has more.
In the clear blue waters around Japan's southern islands of Okinawa, coral reefs are dying. The ocean is experiencing a major heat wave, and with a strong El Niño coming, plus other threatening conditions, researchers at the Okinawa Institute of Science and Technology say the coral reefs may not be able to survive for much longer.
The urgency is because if we don't understand what climate change or ocean warming, acidification does to coral reef ecosystem, there is a chance we're going to lose them or change them forever.
It's been one of the hottest summers ever in Japan, with a new word, kokushobi, created to describe the heat, cruelly hot days. And scientists are warning that a mass bleaching event may be inevitable. That's when corals turn white after losing the healthy algae that they rely on for nutrients. It's often caused by heat, UV stress, or pollution.
Maybe not this year, but next year, it's just like a bomb ready to explode. So, yeah, the likelihood will be, for me, if the situation is like that, it's almost 100% that soon in Okinawa or around the world, we will have another mass bleaching event.
Mass bleaching doesn't kill coral directly, but it leaves them vulnerable to disease that could kill them. And bleaching is devastating for the thousands of fish species that make coral reefs their home. In Ravashi's lab, scientists are testing how marine life adapts to heat to better predict what could happen in an ocean without coral reefs. In another part of Okinawa, Coral farmer Kinjo Koji is trying another approach, trying to make coral stronger by exposing them early on to strong UV rays. He says this technique helps his coral survive a 2024 bleaching. But there are critics.
When we carry out this kind of work, people often tell us that we should restore the sea to how it used to be. But the sea will never return to the way it was in the past. Our approach is therefore to create a place with a rich ecosystem that can adapt to the conditions of the coming era.
But making corals more resilient to climate change is just one part of the equation. Tourism drives 80% of Okinawa's economy, but hotel construction and pollution also pose a threat to the coral reefs that so many come to see. However, local conservationists say tourists can also be part of the solution.
We encourage tourists to take part in eco-friendly programs that aim to increase or protect corals. This way, tourists can develop a greater awareness of environmental protection, and local residents may also feel grateful to see more tourists taking part in such activities. I think this can create a mutually beneficial effect.
These local conservationists hope that their work will be enough to help save the coral reefs around their shores before it's too late. Joseph Wu, Tiffany Wang, and IT for TaiwanPlus.
Thank you for watching TaiwanPlus News. You can visit the TaiwanPlus website or follow our social media for more stories from Taiwan and around the world. Finally, take a look at dogs catching waves at the annual World Dog Surfing Championships in California. These dogs have better balance than I ever will. I'm Liao. Take care and see you next time.